This is John B. Kennedy speaking from the recording studios of the Radio Corporation of America in New York City. I'm here to tell you about a new kind of car, a headline on the highway, a car that's news even to an old newshound like me, who's seen and reported many an unusual event. This new kind of car is the Nash Ambassador 600. Frankly, I've never seen or driven anything like it, and I'm betting you haven't either, for this car is not just an improved version of last year's model. In this case, there was no previous model. When Nash engineers set out to build a car as strong and efficient as a transport plane or a streamlined train, they went to the plants of the most progressive plane makers and train makers, interviewed their designers, secured their cooperation. Then came endless research in the Nash laboratories, fed with money from the generous purse of a $45 million corporation. And the research engineers pulled no punches. Since complete new assembly lines had to be set up anyhow for this brand new car, the old ideas of construction and design walked the plank. The engineers could write their own ticket. Just as the designers of streamlined trains had stripped tons of weight from railway coaches while actually making them stronger, so Nash engineers developed an automobile body which is entirely new in the low-price field, providing more room with less weight yet greater strength. Then they designed a new engine and new wheel suspension system, built expressly for the weight and wheelbase of this car and no other. Finally, they created a brand new production line embodying all the new money-saving equipment that the fast-stepping machine tool industry could provide. And the result of all this preparation is the first completely new and fundamentally different car in 5 years. A car that prices right down in the very heart of the lowest price field. Yet a car that is big in every respect, big enough for 6 full-size passengers. And a car that goes so far on a gallon of gas that you think the gas gauge has gone on a bin.
Pardon me, John.
Okay, Bill.
But as the other half of this two-man newspaper, and very tactfully, I'd like to suggest that it's time to leave the streamers, the big headlines on this verbal newspaper of ours, and get down to the subheads and the news stories. For instance, I've found 9 specific reasons why this Ambassador 600 is real news, important news to every automobile owner.
Well, Bill, that includes most of us, so please give out with those reasons.
Okay, John, here goes. Reason 1, 25 to 30 miles per gallon of gasoline. 30 to 50% better mileage than other full-size, low-priced cars. Reason 2, the only torpedo-type unitized body in the low-price field, a body built like a stratosphere plane or a streamliner train, lighter and yet stronger. Reason 3, that body provides more room than cars costing up to $200 more. Reason 4, the coiled spring ride on all 4 wheels. Reason 5, acceleration that puts you back against the seat and no fooling. From 15 to 50 miles per hour in 12 and a half seconds. Reason 6, the new Flying Scot engine with sealed-in manifolding, 4 main bearings, and full-pressure lubrication, even to the piston pin. Reason 7, the Weatherize, the original and still unique system of conditioned air for winter driving. Reason 8, the sedan sleeper, a convertible bed that gives you a bedroom under the stars. And the 9th reason, the reason for every one of us to get excited about the Ambassador 600, this big package of what we all want is not only selling in the lowest price field, but well down in that field.
9 swell headlines, Bill, but you'll pardon me if I point out that they still don't give our audience the point-by-point story they're waiting for.
Okay, John, let me tell you just what I saw and experienced the other day. You know, I took that new 600 out Long Island way, up through the hills in Westchester and back in the holiday traffic of the new Parkway. And, John, that car is a knockout. As for style, we'll take a look at it. Every inch a Nash and every inch distinctive. Not just another of the swarming thousands of low-priced cars. And personally, I never wanted to drive a car that looked just like my neighbors, any more than the ladies like to wear an outfit that's a dead ringer for some other gal's get-up. Even when you know this distinguished-looking car is 194 inches from bumper to bumper, your eyes keep telling you it's even longer. Here's the reason for that. The body lines and highlights are long and horizontal. The belt roll runs the full length of the car with a strong highlight on it to emphasize the overall size. fender lines and highlights are also horizontal, giving an overall impression of many speed lines and highlights all traveling in one direction. These highlights combine with a forward-reaching radiator ornament to make the hood look long and raky. Although, in fact, a very large proportion of the body room is devoted to the passengers and to their luggage. When I looked at the front of the car, I recognized that long horizontal air intake. I'd seen a very similar cooling device built into Sir Malcolm Campbell's racing car when Sir Malcolm set that 292-mile-an-hour record of his, so I knew it meant efficient cooling. I also realized that the low, wide grill of the intake and the substantial bumper combined to make the 600 look even lower than it is. The flowing lines of the rear fender make the car look lower and trimmer. I learned that the fender cutout was styled similarly with the streamlined design of the fast fighting plane. I know the sleek rear deck of the torpedo model gave plenty of room for baggage, but I didn't realize just how much until those Nash folks lined up more baggage than I carry on a trip to Europe, and then stowed away every last piece in that big rear compartment, which, by the way, is lighted at night by the twin tail lamps. Incidentally, if you happen to prefer the sweeping curve of the fastback design, you can also get it in a Nash 600 in either special or deluxe series. Also available is the Coupe Brougham in the deluxe series. A rear seat 57 inches wide makes seating 6 a cinch. Without the rear seat, this car is known as the Business Coupe in either special or deluxe series. To sum up, the 600's complete line consists of a special Business Coupe, a deluxe Business Coupe, a deluxe Coupe Brougham, a special fastback sedan, a deluxe fastback sedan, and a torpedo sedan. Now, the appearance of all body models is enhanced by the built-in running boards. With the doors closed, there's hardly a trace of them. But when I opened one of those extra-wide doors, there was a man-sized running board level with the car floor and concealed by the outsweep of the door when it's closed.
Just a minute, Bill, before you get through that open door and inside the car. Let's tell our listeners about the Nash unitized body construction. Since it adds so much to the safety of the 600, its roominess, performance, economy, in fact, it's just about everything we're going to discuss from now on.
Okay, John, let's have the dope.
Well, Bill, from the days of the horseless carriage, the method of building automobiles has been pretty much standard. Even today, on many cars, you start with a heavy frame mounted on wheels and put an engine into it. Then you lower a body onto this frame and bolt the two of them together. Result, the body just rides along on top of the frame. It can't add much strength to the frame, which therefore has to be heavy enough to withstand the strain pretty much unassisted. In contrast, most bridges are built as a unit, with the upper members adding strength to the lower parts. In much the same way, strength and lightness are built into airplanes. They too are designed as a unit, with every structural member supporting and strengthening every other member. And it is this type of construction which the Ambassador 600 for the first time brings to the lowest priced automotive field. Body and frame are a unit, a web of torn steel girders running around under and over you, spot welded into one rigid structure, squeak-proof, rattle-proof, twist-proof. This is the way the automobile of the future will be built. And this is the way the new kind of car, the Ambassador 600, is built today.
That's a swell explanation of Nash unitized construction, John. But let's tell our listeners just what it means to the family that owns a Nash 600. First of all, it means greater safety. For you and your family are surrounded by a network of steel, welded into one self-bracing unit. And then, an oversized windshield, almost 90 square inches larger, 3 big side windows, and a curved rear window give you a wider field of vision in all directions. And that's another big advance in safety, like the straight-line stopping and featherlight action of the Nash super hydraulic brakes, or the floodlight illumination of Nash sealed beam headlights, set far apart in the fenders, where they mark the width of your car for oncoming drivers. And once you step inside the 600, you'll find comfort, luxurious lounging comfort, which the Nash unitized body construction has brought to the low-priced field for the first time. For instance, the front seating width is almost 58 inches. Now, up to now, you've had to pay at least $200 more to get a car with that much room. And then with 42 inches of legroom and 38 inches of headroom, there's room for a drum major to stretch out in that front compartment. The rear compartment provides the same kind of living room comfort. There, too, you rest against longest, deepest springs. You're relaxed and uncrowded. for there's 50 inches of seating width of that big rear seat, and a full 42 inches for leg stretching, as well as 36.5 inches headroom. Now, I won't dwell on the luxurious interior fittings of these torpedo models: the handy placed ashtrays, the armrests, the convenient assist cords, the robe cord, the adjustable rear quarter windows, the dual sun visors, and the modernistic dome light. I won't review the virtues of the 18-inch full-size steering wheel, the foam sponge seats that are available at a low cost, or the locked glove compartment at the instrument panel. However, I might mention the luxurious appearance of the torpedo sedan interior, done in attractive tan cloth with rich plum-colored piping, garnished molding, plastic knobs, and matched kick pads to protect the doors. And then, it's mighty important to know that the greatest single comfort maker of them all, the Weather-Eye, Nash's automatic and exclusive conditioned air system, provides even greater comfort this year. From the intake on the cowl, fresh outside air is swept through passages bigger than last year's, filtered, and then warmed by the largest heating core ever installed in a production model automobile. The amount of heating is governed by the setting of this control, more conveniently located on the instrument panel this year. Once you've tuned in the amount of warmth you wish, the Weather-Eye automatically maintains that comfort level inside the car, regardless of changing weather outside. From this outlet, placed down near the floor where drafts begin, a continuous flow of warm, filtered, fresh air blankets the floorboards in both the front and rear compartments, and then circulates throughout the car. A new feature is this trapdoor, which in one position furnishes direct heat and in the other diffused flow, because this flow of conditioned air is constant and abundant. The air pressure inside the passenger compartment is slightly greater than outside. Stale air and tobacco smoke are forced out. Dangerous carbon monoxide cannot leak in. If defrosting is needed, twin fans blast 2 streams of hot air against the windshield, thus enabling 1941 Weather-Eye to convert greater safety as well as greater comfort. But comfort never ends at bedtime when you're touring in a Nash sedan sleeper. This big double bed can be installed in any 600 sedan.
That's right, Bill. But just as new and just as exclusive is the riding comfort which the Ambassador 600 has brought to the lowest price field. In part, this comfort is due to the fact that the Ambassador 600 is the first car of its price class in which you ride cradled by coil springs on all 4 wheels. The rear wheels are cushioned by long, soft coil springs, a comfort feature from the $1,000 price class. Then, for the front suspension, Nash first studied European design. For European roads worn by the traffic of centuries have challenged the skill of automobile builders. From their study came a front suspension exclusive to Nash in America, the type used in a European luxury car noted for its easy ride. Briefly, here's how this front suspension works. Every car has a bolt or kingpin on which the front wheels pivot. Well, in the exclusive 600 suspension, this bolt is lengthened to allow the wheel to move up and down as well as to turn. The car itself is supported by a coil spring and a direct-acting vertical shock absorber between the wheel and the frame. What once was the front axle can now be rigidly fastened to the body. Thus, the construction is simplicity itself, and its advantages are just as clear. The front wheels are directly sprung. That is, the action of each front wheel is transmitted directly to its spring. In contrast, older types of front suspension transmit the action of the wheel through intermediate linkages and bushings, where friction may hamper the free action of the spring and make it less responsive. Because of this fundamental difference in front suspensions, the 600 is the first American car with all 4 wheels directly sprung on coil springs. You can get 4 coil springs on cars costing $200 or $300 more than the 600, but the front wheels are not directly sprung. Then, too, in Nash's exclusive suspension, all moving parts are enclosed and supported on permanently lubricated ball and roller bearings. Finally, unsprung weight, or the weight below the springs themselves, is greatly decreased. Each front wheel can follow the irregularities of the road without jolting the car.
But, John, Nash engineers realize that there's more to ride than suspension. The use of the exclusive compound Sand Mortex helps get the best of those 2-ride evils, body rumble and vibration.